Love has a way of making lies feel harmless at first. It makes excuses sound reasonable. It makes red flags look like misunderstandings. And sometimes, love convinces us that the person standing closest to us could never be the one hiding the deadliest secret of all. This is one of those stories. A story that began with affection and trust, slowly turned into deception, and ended in a crime so shocking that even the people who thought they knew the truth were left questioning everything. When people described Amanda Reynolds, they used words like kind, dependable, and loyal. She was the type of person who believed deeply in relationships, in honesty, in the idea that if you loved someone enough, things would work out. She didn't jump from relationship to relationship. She chose carefully. And when she fell in love, she fell completely. She met Mark Reynolds at a time when both of them were looking for stability. Mark was confident, well-spoken, and seemed grounded. He had a steady job, a calm demeanor, and a way of making Amanda feel safe. He wasn't flashy or dramatic. He didn't rush things. And that's exactly why Amanda trusted him. Their relationship unfolded slowly, almost quietly. Long conversations, shared routines, weekend plans that felt comforting rather than exciting. Mark listened when Amanda talked. He supported her ambitions. He remembered details about her life that made her feel valued. And when he talked about the future, it sounded reasonable, realistic, and sincere. The lies didn't start big. They never do. At first, they were small omissions. Details Mark didn't volunteer. Stories that were just vague enough to avoid questions. Amanda noticed, but she didn't push. Everyone has parts of their past they don't want to relive, right? She told herself that trust meant patience. When Mark proposed, Amanda said yes without hesitation. Their engagement felt like the natural next step, not a dramatic leap. Friends were happy for them. Family members approved. There was nothing about Mark that raised alarms. In fact, people admired how calm and collected he was. How steady. The wedding was intimate and joyful. Promises were made. Vows about honesty, loyalty, and protecting one another. Amanda believed every word she spoke. She believed Mark believed them too. Marriage, however, has a way of exposing what dating can hide. Once they were living together full-time, Amanda began noticing subtle changes. Mark became more guarded. Not cold, not aggressive, just closed. He started spending more time alone. He kept his phone close. He would step outside to take calls. When Amanda asked casual questions, his answers felt rehearsed, slightly defensive. Again, she ignored the feeling in her gut. Marriage requires trust, she reminded herself. Doubt felt like betrayal. Mark began controlling things quietly. He framed his behavior as concern. He questioned Amanda's plans, her friends, her schedule. He wanted to know where she was, and when she'd be back. When she expressed discomfort, he turned it around, accusing her of hiding things or not caring enough. And because Amanda didn't want conflict, she adjusted. She compromised. She softened herself to keep the peace. What Amanda didn't know was that Mark wasn't just hiding secrets from her. He was hiding an entire truth. Behind the scenes, Mark's life was unraveling. Financial problems he never disclosed. Debts that grew larger each month. Decisions he made before their marriage that were catching up to him. But instead of being honest, he chose deception. Instead of asking for help, he doubled down on control. The deadly secret wasn't just what Mark had done. It was what he was planning to do. As pressure mounted, Mark's behavior grew darker. His calmness turned sharp. Arguments became more frequent. He would push Amanda emotionally, then apologize just enough to keep her close. He made her question her own instincts, made her feel guilty for doubting him. This wasn't love anymore. It was manipulation wearing the mask of marriage. Amanda confided in a close friend that she felt trapped, that she loved her husband, but something felt deeply wrong. She said she felt like she was living with a stranger. But she also said something that breaks hearts in hindsight. She said she believed things would get better once the stress passed. The night everything ended didn't begin with chaos. It began like any other evening. Dinner, a quiet house, an argument over something small. Money, timing, words spoken in frustration. What happened next was later described in court, but the reality was far more disturbing than the facts on paper. Mark's lies had reached a point where exposure felt inevitable. And to him, that was unacceptable. Police would later say the crime was not impulsive. It was the result of mounting pressure, fear of losing control, and a secret Mark believed could never be revealed. When authorities arrived at the scene, Mark told them it was an accident, a fall, a tragic misunderstanding. He was calm, cooperative. He spoke softly. The kind of behavior that often convinces people everything is exactly as it appears. But something didn't add up. Investigators noticed inconsistencies immediately. The injuries didn't match the story. The timeline shifted. Mark's version of events changed in small but important ways. And as they dug deeper, the truth began to surface. Financial records showed desperation. Insurance policies taken out quietly. Messages revealed control and emotional manipulation. And slowly, the picture became clear. This wasn't an accident. This was the final act of a lie that had been building for years. When Mark was arrested, the shock rippled through everyone who knew them. Friends refused to believe it. Family members struggled to reconcile the man they knew with the crime he was accused of. Amanda's loved ones were left asking the same question again and again. How could this happen? How could no one see it coming? In court, prosecutors laid everything out. The lies, the manipulation, the secret Mark had been hiding. They described a marriage that looked stable on the outside but was collapsing from within. They showed how control replaced partnership and how fear replaced love. Mark's defense painted him as overwhelmed, misunderstood, pushed too far. But evidence doesn't care about excuses. And eventually, the truth spoke louder than his words. Amanda's story became a cautionary tale. Not about trusting too easily, but about how deception thrives in silence. About how love can be used as a weapon. About how dangerous it can be to ignore that quiet voice telling you something isn't right. The most haunting part of this story is how ordinary it all seemed. No dramatic warnings. No obvious villain. Just a relationship that slowly poisoned itself with lies. Love didn't fail Amanda. Lies did. And the deadly secret wasn't just what Mark hid. It was the belief that he could keep hiding it forever. This case forces us to confront uncomfortable truths. That the people closest to us are capable of unimaginable harm. That marriage doesn't guarantee safety. That love, without honesty, can become a trap. Amanda believed in forever. She believed in working through problems. She believed in her husband. And that belief was used against her. This isn't just a story about crime. It's a reminder. A reminder that secrets don't disappear just because we ignore them. That lies grow heavier with time. And that sometimes, the most dangerous person isn't a stranger lurking in the dark. Sometimes, it's the one sleeping beside you. Love can survive many things. Distance, stress, fear. But it cannot survive lies. And when lies are protected at all costs, they don't just destroy trust. They destroy lives. And that's why this story matters. Because behind every shocking crime, there's often a long trail of ignored truths, quiet warnings, and secrets that were never meant to stay hidden.